hello, and welcome to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, it's so great to have you. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Well, I have the pleasure of having someone who's been here before. I'm thrilled that she's accepted my invitation to come back, and I hope that you enjoy getting to know her again. Her name is Karen Isaac. She's a theater critic and journalist, and she's with Shore Publications and Zip06.com. And Karen, thank you so much for being here. Welcome back.
Well, thank you for inviting me back. It's always fun.
Oh, I'm so glad. Well, like I like to do at the beginning of every program is to introduce the guest to the viewer. So why don't you take us back into your background? Let us get to know you. If you don't mind.
I don't mind. I fell in love with theater at a very, very early age. I was blessed to have parents who took me to theater at a very early age, so I have seen lots. And over the years, that love has simply grown. I became a writer, I worked in public relations, I then became a college teacher of journalism, etc. And mixed in, I've done a little performing. I still do cabaret workshops and some cabaret performances, and I have seen more plays than probably most people have ever heard of. And I love it.
Did you, when you were growing up, because I have so many performers that watch the program, did you think that you would be an actor?
I thought of it, yes, of course. I always dreamed of it. I was going to be Julie Andrews.
Oh, there you go.
And I don't know if there isn't still a little tiny bit of me that expects to be discovered, even at my ripe old age. I did, but I realized I'm not sure whether I could have had the talent to do it. I'm not sure, but I realized I didn't have the will. Mm-hmm. I think if you want to be a performer in that very tenuous business, you have to be willing to sacrifice everything and anything, and I wasn't.
What was it about theater that you fell in love with at a young age?
I'm not sure how a 4-year-old does that, but I think if you've ever taken a child to an early theater thing, I know I took my grandchildren when they were 4 or 5 to children's theater, and they just stare and stare and look. Well, I never got past that in terms of just being able to immerse myself in it.
Theater, I understand from watching our past shows and you just speaking right now, you go to a lot of theater.
Yes, I never counted up, but I would say 70 plus shows a year.
Oh, in New York and Connecticut?
In New York and Connecticut. And during the summer, I'll get up to the Berkshires, maybe once, maybe twice, to see something that really interests me up there.
What takes you to the Berkshires?
If it's a show that really looks interesting to me, or if it's a show I haven't seen. This year I went up because Barrington Stage Company was doing a production of Camelot. And I hadn't seen Camelot in decades. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, okay, I'll make a day of it and go up, and did, and it was well worthwhile. It was a terrific production.
Connecticut, that's where we're based.
Yes.
That's the state that listens to us the most.
Right.
How are the Connecticut theaters according to your perspective?
I think we have some of the best theater in the country. And they're doing better, thank goodness, because after the pandemic, it was touch and go, and I'm not sure it isn't still touch and go for some of them, partly because of the cutbacks in federal funding that has occurred. I know several theaters lost grants that had already been approved. But we have extraordinary quality in Connecticut.
And of course, you're going into New York. Do you see Broadway and off-Broadway?
I see more Broadway than off-Broadway. I do a little bit of picking and choosing. I can't possibly see everything that I get invited to. There is a limit, where I live. Even by train, it's a good 2 hours each way.
Yeah.
So you're talking an 7, 8 hour block to go in. But I do see the things that are most interesting to me.
How is Broadway doing?
It's really strange right now. I just read an article about the fact that musicals are having difficulty, and particularly new musicals. No matter, I'm not sure all the factors involved, but last year, only I was trying to think, but I know 2 musicals have survived till now that opened from last September to June, and many, ran 2 months, 3 months, and closed. And to put on a musical on Broadway, for many of them, it's $20 million plus.
Right.
Even Gypsy with Audra McDonald, well-established name, everybody wants to see her play that role, closed a couple weeks before it was scheduled to close and did not recap its investment.
Wow.
So Broadway musicals are somewhat tenuous at the moment.
One of your titles is theater critic. What does that mean?
That means going to shows and trying to evaluate them so that you can help your audience decide where to spend their time and their dollars. What shows might most appeal to them. And I also, you also are looking at it, how does it meet professional standards?
How long have you been a theater critic?
30 plus years.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
How did you become a theater critic?
By accident, like how I got into most things in my life. As a journalist, sometimes you're asked to do stuff and you start doing it and then it just snowballs. And that was with me.
And do you like it?
I love it. I say it feeds my addiction of seeing theater.
Well, I live in Clinton, so I'm getting the Harbor News, and I know that we talk about Shore Publishing, which you'll talk more about, and I see your information of what's playing, your reviews. Tell us about Shore Publications and what you do with them.
Shore Publications has been around 20 plus years. It's a chain of weekly papers that operates along the shore of Connecticut. It's now part of the New London Day Publishing. And I am basically the theater person. I write a column, I write reviews, I write feature articles, interviews. I'm sort of the theater person.
And I'm very honored to say that I'm part of the Connecticut Critics Circle.
Yes.
Tell us what the Connecticut Critics Circle is all about.
The Connecticut Critics Circle is a group of theater critics from Connecticut who cover Connecticut. We join together to support each other, to have a camaraderie, to talk about the issues that we debate about. What is the role of a critic? How do you balance things? And we have, for the last 30 some years, every June given awards for outstanding productions and performances in the professional theaters in Connecticut.
Zip06.com, what does that mean?
That is the website for Shore Publishing. So you can go there if you don't get the paper or you've misplaced it. You can go there and find all the material.
We have many people that are probably listening now that say, oh my goodness, I'm a writer. I'd like to be a theater critic. How do I get started? What would your advice be?
start by going to theater and start by writing about it. Even if nobody is going to read it, start that way and then see where you go. You can start, you can find a blog that will post it. You can create your own blog. The Connecticut Critics have a mentor program, and it's not just for young people. It's, if you want to, you can apply to it. Right now I'm mentoring a woman who has a lot of theater credentials, and she's, let's say, over 25, who wants to get into doing theater criticism. And so I'm working with her. She sends me what she writes. I give her hints and tips and suggestions and comments, and then it gets posted on the Connecticut Critics website. And so she gains experience in what to do.
Okay, let's hold that thought and take a break.
Okay.
I'm Deborah Gilbert. You're tuned in to Arts and Entertainment. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Shoppers depend on customer reviews to make the right decisions, but as sellers continually find new ways to craft fake reviews and hire thousands of people to post them, getting rid of every fake review quickly is nearly impossible. Look out for generic reviewer profiles. If a reviewer has a very common or generic name, you've spotted a red flag. Read reviews by customers with verified purchases, meaning the reviewer bought the product on the same site where they wrote the review. Examine the quality and timing of product reviews. If you notice a product has several 5-star or 1-star reviews with just a word or two in the written portion of the review, or if the reviews use language that is generic, studded with irrelevant details, or overly enthusiastic, you may be looking at a fake review. This is especially true if you notice multiple similar reviews posted during a short window of time. The rise of generative AI has made it much easier to post fake reviews and harder for customers to spot them. So it's a good idea to check multiple websites and compare reviews of an item or service. If you spot a scam, report it to BBB Scam Tracker. That's bbb.org/scam tracker.
And welcome back to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, I hope you're enjoying the show. My conversation continues on with Karen Isaacs. And Karen, I had mentioned the radio. I know that there are people that are going to say, oh my God, I love to be on radio. What was it like for you, and what was it all about?
It was fun. Again, it was totally non-professional. My husband and I were on WNHU, which is the University of New Haven's radio station, and at that time it was a heavily community volunteer organization. Some students participated, but it was a lot of the community doing shows. And we were asked initially to do theater reviews. And so we would tape them, and they'd play multiple times a week on the station. But then we took over. There was a show that was 5 days a week called Memory Lane, which was music of the big bands, Broadway, 30s, 40s. It's sort of whatever you quite made it, shaped it. And we were DJs for one morning a week on that show. And I continued it through about 2015, and at that point, and from maybe 2000, so about 15 years I did that show.
Wow! Do you miss it?
No.
Okay.
The station changed in ways. It became more student focused. The time slots were getting moved around. Part of what I liked about it was you'd get calls from people who'd either ask for something or tell you something about a song that you didn't know. And because of the way things were working, I had to tape the show ahead of time. And so I just decided, you know what, it's been a good run, but let's let it go. And I did.
Okay, let's talk about the websites. If we could put the website addresses up on the screen, that would be great. Tell us about twoontheaisle.wordpress.com.
That is my blog. That is where I post all my reviews and anything else I do. Shore Publishing only will print or put on their website some select theaters, the reviews from some select theaters. They are not all the reviews from shows in Connecticut or my New York reviews. So twoontheaisle.wordpress.com is where I put everything. For example, when I went to London and came back and wrote about what I had seen in London, Shore Publishing wouldn't publish it, but I put it there.
Tell us about your trip to London.
I had not been in London in a long, long time, and I had some things happen in the last 6-8 months and decided I needed to treat myself. And I went to London at the end of May for a week. I was there 5 full days and I saw 5 plays.
Oh my goodness, how was it?
It was lovely. I very carefully picked, and the one I was most interested to see, and I found the most interesting, has just been announced that it's going to be in New York in the spring. And it's a play about Roald Dahl, who wrote, a lot of children's books, Matilda and Something in the Giant Peach and all those. But Roald Dahl was very controversial. He had some anti-Semitic views that he expressed very loudly and was not willing to back down from them. And this is a play about that issue and him, and it stars the absolutely fantastic American actor John Lithgow.
Oh, sure.
Who is coming with bringing it to New York. And that was the play I was most anxious to see, because it had won all sorts of awards for the play and for him personally, and I just wanted to see it.
Probably the question is, London theater compared to Broadway or theater in general in the United States, what are your thoughts?
London theater is very different. What I find is London theater doesn't necessarily aim for a long run. Even musicals there may only run a short period of time. Of course, they have the shows that run forever. And right now, the Harry Potter show, Back to the Future is very popular in London. It's interesting that there are shows that are very popular in London that have not succeeded in the US or haven't even come to the US. The Devil Wears Prada, the musical, is doing very well in London, but there's no real talk of it now transferring because it didn't get the greatest reviews. So it's interesting that a lot of plays, and I think because a lot of, what they've always said, London, both the filming, television, theater, films are all sort of centered around London. So you have all of these people. So there's more going back and forth between these things. So it was interesting, but some new playwrights, I was glad I went. I'm going to have to go back a little more frequently than once every 14 years because I enjoyed it and I thought it was neat to see that theater.
Quality of the performances. What about the difference between what you saw in London as compared to Broadway or theater in general here?
I don't see a huge difference. I think these are very good performers in both places. This past spring I didn't get to see a lot of theater in New York, and I did get to see George Clooney in Good Night and Good Luck. And I was, you sort of wonder, big big movie star, coming to Broadway, he's going to get, everybody's going to buy tickets. Is he going to be any good? And he was good. He was very good. And you see that. It was interesting last year on Broadway, the two biggest financial successes and the two hottest tickets were the George Clooney show, Good Night and Good Luck, and the Othello.
Yes.
With Denzel Washington and Jake Gyllenhaal. Those were the two that ticket prices were through the roof.
Tell us offhand, if you can, theater in our area or in the state of Connecticut that you would recommend.
Oh, I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
Because I just finished a story, which will be probably next week in Shore Publishing, on sort of the shows this fall that I'm looking forward to in Connecticut. And there are some exceptional ones, starting up in Hartford with a play called English, which won the Pulitzer Prize. And it's about teaching an Iranian woman teacher of English in Iran, teaching students who have to pass the competency exam in English in order to be able to go to English-speaking colleges or countries. And it was a really interesting exploration of this, language equals identity, equals culture, and how these interact. Yale Rep is doing the first fully staged production of a play written by Zora Neale Hurston, who was a Harlem Renaissance writer. This is a play that wasn't discovered until 1997. Now, she wrote it in the 30s. They're doing the first fully staged production of Spunk. Up in Ridgefield, Absolutely Famous was a well-known movie at the beginning of the 2000s. They made a musical out of it. It went to Broadway, it flopped. They have extensively rewritten it, Cameron Crowe and Tom Kitt, and it's getting a full production at ACT, A Contemporary Theater, Ridgefield, this fall. And see how it has changed. Those are just a few. I could go on to some others. Hartford Stage is doing a play version of the Alfred Hitchcock film Rope.
Yes.
So there are a lot of good things, and those are just a few of the things that sort of popped up on my antenna, and I said, these absolutely I'm going to go see. Even up in Waterbury at Seven Angels Theater, they're doing the very first musical that Lynn Ahrens and Stephen Flaherty, who wrote Ragtime, Anastasia, Once on This Island, the very first musical they wrote. It's called Lucky Stiff. So there's a lot of both plays and musicals. A Chorus Line at Good Speed is a no-brainer. It's like, you have to go see that if you can get tickets.
Yeah, exactly. We are just about out of time. Any closing thoughts for the viewer?
Go to theater. Go to any theater. There's, in addition to the main professional state theaters in Connecticut, there are a lot of excellent community-style theaters, and support them. The arts are important. We need to support them. We need to get young people into the habit of going. So please.
Well, I want to thank you very much for coming back and being with us today. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always fun to talk to you.
Okay. Well, I'm Deborah Gilbert. You've been tuned in to Arts and Entertainment. In case you need to reach me, I'm at artsandentertainment@mail.com. Well, I hope you have a super day today. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next time.